This is Chapter 4 of The Last Patient. It is called The Web Titans. Dr. Sarah White sat in the dim light of her home office, her laptop open in front of her. The night was silent, save for the occasional distant siren that sliced through the quiet of her neighborhood. She had spent the last few hours reviewing the files and notes related to Justin Walker's case, trying to piece together the cryptic messages and threats. Her heart hadn't stopped racing since she found the note on her car. The warning was clear, and it echoed in her mind. Stop looking, or you'll find more than you bargained for. Earlier that evening, Sarah had met with her cybersecurity friend Tom, who had agreed to help trace the origins of the mysterious message she received. As Tom worked his way through digital traces and IP addresses in his makeshift lab, Sarah could only watch and wait, feeling a mix of hope and dread. "Got something," Tom finally said, his voice a mix of excitement and concern. He turned the laptop toward her. The message came from a server known for routing anonymous communications, often used by, well, let's just say, people who don't want to be found. Sarah leaned closer, her eyes scanning the information. "Can you trace it further?" Tom shook his head. "It's a dead end after that. Whoever sent this knows what they're doing. But this confirms one thing. It's no random prank." As she drove home from Tom's place, Sarah's mind raced. The realization that someone was intentionally weaving this web of fear and paranoia around her and Justin was terrifying. Now, back at home, she felt anything but safe. The next day at her office, Sarah received a call from the private investigator she had hired. He had started looking into Justin's past, digging into any events that could have triggered such targeted harassment or paranoia. "Dr. White, I've found some interesting connections," the investigator reported. "Justin was involved in a startup a few years back. It didn't end well. Financial disputes, accusations of intellectual theft. It got pretty ugly." Sarah scribbled down notes as she listened. Could anyone from that time be holding a grudge? "It's possible," the investigator replied. "I'm looking into his former partners now. I'll keep you posted." Hanging up, Sarah felt a piece of the puzzle click into place, yet the full picture remained elusive. Her thoughts were interrupted by her receptionist's soft knock and the announcement that Justin had arrived for his session. Justin looked even more worn than before. His eyes had a haunted, desperate look, as if he hadn't slept in days. He sat down, his hands fidgeting uncontrollably. "Dr. Sarah," he began, his voice hoarse. "They're getting closer. Last night I think I was followed." Sarah's heart sank. "Tell me exactly what happened, Justin. I was walking home, and I heard footsteps behind me. I thought I was imagining things, but then I saw a figure in the shadows. It vanished when I tried to approach it." Sarah considered his words. The pieces of their experiences were aligning too closely to be mere coincidences. She leaned forward, her voice firm yet gentle. "Justin, I've been looking into your past, about your startup. Is there someone from that time who might want to scare you?" Justin's reaction was immediate and visceral. His body tensed, his eyes widening. I hadn't thought about that time for years. Are you saying this could all be connected?" "It's possible," Sarah admitted. "But we need more information. I need you to try to remember anything from that time that might help us understand." Justin nodded, swallowing hard. "I'll try. It's all a bit of a blur, but I'll try." As the session ended, Sarah felt a growing determination. She was no longer just a psychiatrist. She was now an investigator, intertwined in the dangerous mystery that was unraveling around her and her patient. She knew that they needed to uncover the truth before the ominous threats became reality. After Justin left, Sarah returned to her notes, piecing together every scrap of information. The shadows of evening grew longer, and the office grew quiet as she worked. It was during these quiet moments that she heard it, a soft scraping sound at the door. Sarah froze, her breath catching in her throat. She stood slowly, her eyes fixed on the door as the scraping continued. After a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, she moved toward the door and opened it quickly. The hallway was empty, but on the floor, right outside her office, lay a small folded piece of paper. Heart pounding, Sarah picked it up and unfolded it. The message was simple, but its meaning was clear and terrifying. "You're getting too close. Stop now." The warning confirmed her worst fears. She was indeed on the right track, but pursuing it further could put her in grave danger. As she stood in the doorway, Sarah knew that backing down was not an option. She had to protect Justin and herself, and the only way forward was through the dark web of secrets that threatened to engulf them both.